Hi guys, I'm Harry. Life should be happy and full of hopefulness. But if you got depressed in life, do you want to do something fun before dying? Jacob was born in a noble family, but such luxurious things still can't bring him happiness. He doesn't take interest in anything, in short, he doesn't have feelings. The only thing that makes him keep on living is his mother. This day, after his mother talks to him for the last time, he passes away. She doesn't say anything about Jacob's life. After his mother's death, Jacob thinks there's nothing for him to continue his life anymore. He tells his lawyer to sell houses and all assets, then donates them. With such a generous action, the fun can't help doubting that. Then he comes to the park and intends to kill himself. But Jacob just takes rope out, then gets interrupted by his servants. He finds another place, but his servants ruin his plan again. Jacob decides to use a gun to suicide, but coming across servants are cleaning here, he has to give up and find another way. Jacob tries to use car exhaust. He picks up one of his limited racing cars and carries out his plan. But when he's ready, he was interrupted by the housekeeper. Because there are so many servants he can't suicide, Jacob drives to the seacoast and conducts his plan. He suddenly sees an old man getting down from a car, then a young man takes him in a wheelchair to the cliff edge. After that, he just sees this young man in a wheelchair. Jacob is really curious, he wants to know where this old man is. But when he finds nothing more than a name card of Elysium Company, he comes to the company's address and finds out this company specializes in planning death for people. Its slogan is, "Once in life," with a mission to bring customers to their destination in the safest and fastest way. Facing difficulty to kill himself, Jacob decides to sign a contract at once. The boss tells him he won't be able to change his decision, then escort him to a room to choose a way to suicide. He says, customers usually choose to end their life by family's side, but there are also more interesting way. Their customers will know how they die, but they don't know where and when. For example, they can get exploded on a lake when go fishing, or being swung away when playing on a roller coaster. They are also concerned about surrounding issues. In short, it's a unique service ever. Jacob isn't hesitated to choose the interesting way, then he goes upstairs to choose a coffin. Jacob bumps into Anne picking up a coffin too. She also chooses the same suicide ways as Jacob. He leaves right away after finding himself an appropriate coffin. Returning from that company, Jacob is really happy. He extremely hopes for his upcoming death. Although Jacob is an unemotional person, he's really kind. After dismissing all servants, he not only gives them a salary for a year, but also gives Christmas bonus in advance. Jacob then chooses a place that can't even be seen by a telescope in his manor and waits for death. Suddenly, Jacob gets a phone from Anne. She tells him she has waited for 3 days but nothing happens at all. So she wants to know how's Jacob here, but he still lives very well. Jacob immediately calls Elysium and asks why they haven't taken action. That man says if they just wait at home and get out of daily life orbit, he can't find any chance to take action. Hanging up the phone, Jacob hears a noise from somewhere. It turns out his housekeeper. He can't be at ease to let Jacob live here alone. He wants to wait until Jacob sells this manor out. Jacob knows his housekeeper can't bear leaving this place, so he agrees to let him stay. Today is Friday. As usual, Jacob will go dancing with his mother, so he invites Anne to a restaurant. Anne can't dance, but it turns out they are really congenial. Jacob knows that her parents pass away when she's really little and her neighbor adopts her. They treat her very well, but she still can't find somewhere she belongs to. Jacob really understands her feelings. Anne also knows Jacob is a very gentle and self-cultivated person. Getting out of the restaurant, when they are standing right on the street, a goods car comes forwards from far away. Jacob thinks it's a gift from the Elysium Company. Jacob tells Anne to come with him if she likes. Anne feels a little worried, but she still grabs his hand and waits for death. When handing in hand with Anne, there's some feeling emerging deep inside himself. But this time they can't make it. The truck passes them. It seems that they're still the earnest ones wanting to die. Returning to Anne's home, Jacob proposes to her and wants to be dead with her. Early in the morning, Jacob knows Anne's apartment exploded on TV. He thinks Anne was dead, then rushes into the accident scene. Jacob stands on his car to watch, then carelessly falls down. Anne walks out of the crowd, which makes Jacob feel as if relieved of a heavy load. Jacob finds Anne really takes interest in a racing car, thus, he takes her to her manor to see others. This time, his lawyer also comes over. He tells the buyer of the manor wants to see Jacob. Jacob has to leave Anne here and go handle it. Seeing Jacob brings his girlfriend home, the housekeeper is really happy. He introduces the history of the Jacob family to Anne. He even says Jacob was once a lively and enthusiastic little boy, but he totally loses his grief and joy since his father's accident. After that, his mother used lots of ways to bring his mood back. Anne doesn't know that Jacob still has to face this hurdle. Anne then brings Jacob to the sea coast. She can feel something grieved from that housekeeper. Anne tells Jacob the housekeeper's wife passed away last year. She feels that he really misses his wife. Jacob suddenly realizes the rose garden is really important to the housekeeper, because his wife was buried here. With Anne these days, Jacob feels he has something to look forward to. When teaching Anne to dance, Jacob senses some awkward feelings again. Anne is also attracted by the kind and gentle manner of Jacob. Returning home, Jacob tells the housekeeper about this day's accident. He says when he faces death, it seems like he feels something. The housekeeper tells him it's the panic, and also the fear of missing something. Seeing Jacob's feeling begins to come back, an old man's really happy. Jacob then tells the lawyer not to put the house of housekeeper and that rose garden into home sale contract, or else there will be no trade at all. This time, the housekeeper finds a name card of Elysium Company. The next day, Jacob can't wait anymore. He and Anne come to this company and tell him to carry out the contract at once. However, when getting there, he tells the boss to delay the plan because he is falling in love. He says their business is illegal, so they can't make any mistakes, so he can't make it. Jacob continues to persuade him. He lets Jacob stay and go discuss with his colleague. Through camera, Jacob sees that this man is preparing guns to kill him. Jacob has to rescue himself. He rushes to the car in a hurry to save his life. These people chase right behind them. Anne thinks it's a death plan from Elysium Company, but she doesn't like to end her life this way. She uses her driving skills to escape from these killers. Jacob feels really sorry and tells Anne to turn over. This time, Anne knows that he comes to the company in order to delay this contract. They come to a hotel and find Jacob get hurt. Anne goes get ice, when a killer downstairs is waiting for her here. More unexpected is, Anne is the boss's adopted daughter. The 4 staff members are also his son. Anne takes charge of creating an accident for Jacob. They have to complete this mission before tomorrow afternoon. Returning to the hotel, Anne decides to take action when Jacob is sleeping. Unexpectedly, when she is taking out the gun, Jacob suddenly appears. She has to temporarily suspend plans. They talk and share all night. The next day, Jacob brings Anne to a wooden house in a forest adjacent to his manor. When they are moving stuff, a gun of Anne drops out. Jacob likes realizing something. He suddenly hides in the room. But he calms down and remembers that doesn't he want to die. He comes out and tells Anne to kill him. Anne explains all she said is the truth except for this one. Jacob's really angry. He thinks he found his hope, but it turns out Anne is just an imposter. Seeing Jacob gets mad at her, Anne's really happy. Because he finally can get back his feelings. Anne kisses Jacob, to tell him that she loves him too. She knows that her brothers are waiting for Anne to kill him. Anne gives him a chute and warps him in a bedsheet, then pulls on a car. Then give them a hint that she has completed the mission. Jacob turns into a different person. He regrets deciding to sell his manor. But his contract won't take effect until 12 a.m. He calls a lawyer to cancel this contract. The lawyer agrees, but actually, he can't bear giving up such a big commission. Jacob immediately rushes home, but it's too late. He just can sue this lawyer. Anne's adopted father is really angry knowing she doesn't bring Jacob's dead body back. Anne tells she is in love with Jacob. Her father turns out to be really happy with his daughter's happiness. He agrees to cancel the contract with Jacob, but Jacob has to marry Anne and complete a mission. Unexpectedly, his customer is Jacob's housekeeper. Jacob thinks he wants to end his life because of sickness, so willing to take him to hospital. But the housekeeper just wants to reunite with his wife, though. In fact, he has known that Elysium Company for a long time. It can help him to leave this world beside his beloved person. When Jacob already gets his happiness, he feels there's nothing to regret. This moment he realizes, when sinking in the depression of himself, he accidentally can't feel the care of others, just until they leave him. In the end, Jacob goes back to his manor, and buries the housekeeper with his beloved wife, then starts a new life with Anne. An old saying of Spanish goes, life and death are a little the same, either a powerful king or a poor wretch, they all have to die, no one can avoid it. Thus, don't lose interest in your life so soon, there are lots of things worth your life here. Okay, that's the end. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Harry will be back soon with a new movie.